And we're live.
And we are live. We are live right now, back with our new idea of podcast. A couple of friends told me, Christian, you're asking too many questions. You better start answering questions. So a couple of friends came to me and say, let's invert the roles here, and you need to sit and
Yes.
we want to ask you some tough questions. So, as I mentioned last week, I did it with a friend from Brazil. It was very cool. So we name it as Coachman, and something that actually Dr. Karla Soto here on my left is no, this side. Um, she suggested, as I interviewed her in the past, she said, I would like to make a list of questions and ask you and see what answers do you have with that look of challenging me. Say, I want to see your answers. So I said, yeah, let's do it. So I'm sorry. Here we are with Dr. Karla Soto. Thank you so much, Karla, for joining and for making yourself available and putting energy to prepare these questions. I hope it's going to be fun. I have no idea about the questions.
That's
You
true.
have to tell that's true, right? So before we start, I think it's cool if you say hello to the DSD community and tell us who is Dr. Karla Soto.
Oh, hello, everybody. I am actually, it's funny because I had an intro ready for you. So this is backwards. I'm not introducing myself. You're not asking me any questions today.
Okay. So rewind.
No, actually, I mean,
we are live.
I actually tried to make my introduction and my story. It's funny, in preparation for this, I was going to post a few pictures of us, like I'm interviewing Christian. And then I started going back in time, and we have like so much. So like there's like I went over like thousands and thousands of pictures and so many interactions. So I figured it would be kind of fun to introduce my part of the story because I was going to interview you in my story.
But by the way, your Instagram stories on the last 48 hours have been amazing. I loved following each one of them. It was a great storytelling, by the way. Great storytelling.
Thank you.
Super cool photos, amazing career, amazing story. That I was proud to be part of it.
Oh, you're not only part of it. It's like you're a huge reason of why all of that happened. But I've always think of like if I had to introduce Christian, like how would I introduce Christian? And it's like it's impossible. I mean, everybody knows that you're this amazing visionary, and you're basically like I joke about like a god in our industry. But I think that what a lot of people don't know is that you're such an amazing, solid, good person. So I know that everyone knows how smart you are, how like you always see things before we all see them, how at least in my case you put words in beliefs that I had that I never knew how to put it in words. But I'm sure people that get to know you know how amazing of a person you are, but I'm not sure everybody knows that. So today I don't want to talk about not much dentistry. We'll have to talk about dentistry because that's our passion, but I want to talk more about you and also mentorship and your vision for people like me that at some point you've helped carry along the way. So first of all, how's everyone? How's the family? How's the kids?
Yeah, family's been great. Family, everybody's healthy, and nowadays that's a big thing.
Huge.
So yeah, we are healthy. We are happy. We are worried. Our business, of course, is struggling. We are concerned. We don't know where everything is going, but everybody's positive, and somehow we're gonna make it.
Yes. No. Oh, for sure. I mean, by the way, I'm not really going to talk too much about COVID either on this interview, but thank you so much for everything you're doing, to help us. I want to take a break from that, but part of the positive mindset that I have on it is because of, everything that you're bringing to the table and being part of your community. So thank you for that. But anyways, I wanna jump to some questions. The it's funny. I just thought of it when I asked about your family. I saw Elena walking in one of Nicole's like picture stories, and I was like, "How long has she been walking? I can't believe I saw her. She was a few months old, and now she's
Yeah,
walking.
yeah.
It's adorable." So one of the things that has always impressed me about you is, not only that you're a good person and that you're kind and you're like a combination of like badass, but you're also sweet. It's also that no, you really are, but it's also that, your integrity. Like I've witnessed you take the high road and making those hard decisions so many times. And that's one of the things that's made me respect you so much and follow you and almost blindly, like, if Christian is saying this is the way, then this is the way. So I wanted to go over a little bit of our journey, what's some of the things that we've experienced together that made me think that, that respect that. But I really want to try to understand, and I think I'm hoping this is the right platform for that, because a lot of people that come to me ask me, like, how do I do what you've done? How do I become, what did you do that Christian was like, like took you under his wing? And I don't really know the real answer to that. So what would your advice, or what would you say, what did you see as a mentor in somebody like me where I was, at that crossroad when I met you?
We as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as somebody involved on a startup, we understand that it's all about the people you surround yourself. You need to succeed. You need to become a talent finder, an expert on finding talent. You also need to become an expert on reading people, on understanding that some people are better in one way, other people are better in a different way. So not only finding good people, but finding the best part of each person, because nobody's perfect. We are not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So kind of polishing the person in front of you, or being able to take the best out of that person, with the mix between being kind and being tough.
Yes.
So you find the talent, then you interpretate the psychology of that person, and you find the talent inside that person. Find the talent means mainly character and overall emotional intelligence. So you need to find somebody that has good character, of course. That's priority number one, and good emotional intelligence. These are the two main things. Not really technical talent or expertise or know-how. These things people can learn. So when you find a person that is wise, it's a wise soul. It's a good soul with good emotional intelligence, great character. You immediately go to the second step, and the second step is, okay, this is a good person. Let's find what is really good inside this good person, and then you go more technical. You go more straight to the point. How can we use this person? How can we fit this person? How can we find the best skills that the person has, so we can better use those skills? And then when we understand how to find those things and fit that person into the best possible way, then we go to the third step, that is, okay, now we need to push. Now we need to scope, to the access out, try to help the person to stop wasting time and energy with things that are not guiding that person to use their best skills. And you need to be super tough, to a point that sometimes the person is like, is he really nice, or is he
I
not
never doubted. I promise you, I never doubted. I think if you don't enjoy the push, then it's not for you, right? I mean, nothing's gonna come easy. Nothing's gonna come easy. So you were always kind, but you're tough. You're definitely tough too.
Of course, that with you, probably I'm a little bit nicer than what that I am, for example, with the people working with me every day.
Sure.
So many times I get anxious, or I get nervous, or I get a little bit impulsive, I get angry. Sometimes I can be rude even, of course I'm very good at apologizing and identifying that and saying, I don't like that part of me, and going back and apologizing, and then everything is fine. But yeah, I better push a little bit too much than a little bit too little.
For sure, for sure. I think that that really describes it. And in my eyes, when people are asking me for help or things like that, I want to add the not necessarily being tough, but I really want people to show their work too. I mean, not to want to be given something. So I've experienced a lot of people that it's like, oh, I want to do what you're doing, and then like you give like, oh, just do this, and then let's talk, and then it never really happens. So while I was taking a look at the whole journey and all the pictures and stuff, it made me realize all
Yeah,
the time, man.
delivering, the doers. That's I'm a big fan. I'm addicted to people that are doers, even if they do it wrong, even if they do it twice, even if they don't, even if they are stubborn or they don't do exactly what I asked for. If they do, this is something that I really appreciate. Doers, proactiveness. People that you see, they have a task and they come back with the task done plus this plus that.
Right.
So that's something that is very challenging, and it's not very common. And you want to bring these people together. I love my team at DSD because everybody is a doer. They are proactive, they really think, and we know how many good ideas in the world every single day, every single week, they don't become real because they were just great ideas and people didn't transform them into action. So being proactive, being having the energy to act on an idea is as important as having the idea.
Yeah, yeah. So would you say that you also like, or you're attracted to being challenged? Because I
Oh,
feel that part of our story was a little bit of that, like honesty and like, right away.
no, I I love challenge since ever. I get very, very into it. Like, okay,
Bring it.
yeah, bring it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna prove this person wrong. And I use it. I try to use it in a positive way, um, and really be open to listen to people, even though it hurts sometimes. When you're challenged, or people tell you the truth, and you think you're so cool, you think that your idea is so cool, you think your performance was so cool, you think your project is so cool, and people come, and some brave people, because I have, of course, a strong personality, and at the situation that I am today, people kind of respect me, and many people probably are a little bit afraid of just telling me, Christian, actually, your lecture was not that good, or this slide was not that nice, and this message was not I wanted to hear. But the ones that come to me and tell me the truth, I really appreciate that, and I really embrace the challenge of, okay, let's go for a better version of that.
So I on my story, I posed the question how my side of the story is a little bit different than your side of the story, and I actually made a poll, and it's like, who believes my side? I didn't say my side. I didn't say your side. Who believes my side and who believes you? I would think in my Instagram feed, people would believe me, but it turned out I got like a 72% believe me, and you got almost 30%, man. So
2/3, 1/3. What you expected? What, to kill me like 90%?
of course, it's my friends, not your friends.
So they know you.
No, actually, I think this is a very selfish way of me having on video your side of the story, because my side of the story is the real side of the story, but every time you say the story, it evolves to something even funnier. So
I'm a storyteller, so there's always the truth, and there's always the story that sounds cooler on people. So you need to adapt the story, so people are like, wow, I want to drink with you, and say that's a cool story.
so on your eyes, after you made this story up of how I met you, this is my side. My side is the first day of residency. I was totally at the edge of my seat, and like, this is it for me. And at the end of the day, of course, you have this like line of people wanting to take pictures and shake your hand. I'm like, I guess I'll go say hi. Whatever. And then I told you how I saw you at the summit, and it was,
I already saw from a distance. Look at that girl, that lady over there. She wants to pretend that she doesn't want to take a picture. I can see that.
so not true. So not true. I obviously was in line. I was like the last one in the line. And then I was so polite and so kind to you.
Mm-hmm. Call Alpha in. Call your husband in. He's gonna be on my side this time.
No, come on, Christian. I was not. It's not what you think. So I want to put on the record that all I said was, I wish you would have done at the summit what you did today, because I really was blown away.
That's exactly what I always say. There was a couple of different words you used there. I was coming from the Align Summit, huge, like, I don't know, 2,000 people. I don't know. First time that Align actually invited somebody from a different company to speak on their stage. I was speaking right after Joe Hogan, the CEO of Align. So he gave his intro speech, and then I lectured after him. And at that point, I was still very into the technicality of the DSD and Invisalign workflow. So I was still like, every time, everybody that creates a new concept or creates a new workflow, you, of course, when you see that the workflow is good and you are in love with that, it's like your baby, right? So you're very into the technicality of the process and the step-by-step, and you really think that the whole world will fall in love with your idea, will fall in love with the details of why you believe that workflow is so good. So I went on stage, and it was a short lecture, so I needed it in 30 minutes, right? Wow. So, and I went very technical over the whole process, right? And of course, that afterwards, I realized that, today, 3-4 years afterwards, I realized that the lecture could be completely different, could be completely different. So when 1 month afterwards, when we met and you came to me and you said,
it was days.
1 week, yeah. So it was very fresh. That lecture was very fresh. And when you lecture, exactly when you kicked ass, when you did okay, when you didn't do good. And after that big lecture for Align, I had the feeling that people really respected the lecture, really enjoyed, but was not like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And maybe because I was too technical. And then when you came, you said exactly what needed to be said. You said, look, I wish you gave this lecture over there. Translating, you were not at your best. You were okay, but it wasn't the best.
I would never dare to tell you were not. I mean, anyways, I think this is a much more, like, we're meeting in the middle, the way you said this story. So, for the record, okay, a little bit more. But truthfully, I'm almost there's so many little things, right, turns that make you like, go where you're going. But I think this little turn really connected me with Angelo, who was, monumental in this whole journey, and the DSD Invisalign collaboration and everything we ended up doing together. But I thought it was so humble of you to, even though I don't think I said your lecture sucked. I did not say that, but I thought it was so you were trying to figure it out, and you were like, can you talk to him so that, she said my lecture sucked, so can you talk to her? And that's, that was the beginning of everything. So anyways, I'm going to move on from this. and this is like a full-on variety of questions. They're not related to each other, but I was wondering, what do you think your vision for women in dentistry is, and what are you doing about it?
Oh my God. Whew. What I'm doing about it, that's a strong. There's so many. I'm sure there's so many powerful uh, dentist women watching us. I better be
So
careful. I better be careful with my answer, right?
very.
No, I'm a big fan of equality. I'm a big fan of not 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 helping women, but creating similar opportunities, right? Um, I don't think women needs help. Women needs the same opportunities. By the way, women are taking over dentistry. Thank God. I hope you guys can take over the whole world. Man has been messing up for so many centuries, and nowadays, on the middle of this crisis, you see the need more than ever. I wish there were more ladies in charge of the process of the important positions on the moment that we live nowadays. We know that the future, as we move and equality becomes more even, and we know that every week, every month, every year is a victory for that, and really the world is becoming a better place. I hope that in the near future you guys will have more representation, and I'm 100% this is going to be better for the whole world. Now in dentistry you already took over, and that's great. We can see already the majority of successful dentists are women, or getting to the point where we have an equal percentage. Before, maybe 10 years ago, there was already a lot of women in dentistry, but women were kind of on a secondary position, making less money in dentistry. And I believe that more and more we see very powerful women becoming great business owners and very successful financially as well. We definitely need much more opinion leaders, women, in the lecturing circuit. This is maybe a more conservative area that I hope more and more women will be represented, even though, I think that the lecturing circuit is in many situations, such a waste of time and a waste of an excess of ego and show off, that maybe one of the reasons, because people ask me why we don't see more women lecturing. First, because, the world is not equal yet, so. But secondly, maybe it's just a guess here, is because women are so smart not to waste their time with this egocentric world of showing off on stage. You just have more important things to do. Take care of your business, take care of your patients, grow your business, take care of your family, enjoy life, take care of yourself, develop what needs to be developed. So I wouldn't be worried about the lecturing circuit. I would be worried much more about leadership positions, key positions in companies, key position in the research area, in scientific programs, in the university. And I believe that there, women are already growing very fast. The lecturing, celebrity dentist lecturing circuit, it's not where the magic happens, really.
I disagree a little bit, just because I feel that it's so nice. I mean, this is coming from somebody that does continuing education still, like, addicted to it. And to me, it was always so nice. It was so rare, but so nice to see somebody on stage. And I do think that the power positions in the industry are somewhere else, and it's not an ego-driven thing. But I do think it speaks to somebody that, it makes them think that that's something they can do. Not necessarily the lecture, but what we're doing on the side.
You become a model. You become a role model for people, for younger ladies, of course. And I love these women leaders that are setting the example and guiding other women to really take the risk and go for it, and push the status quo to open the space that women deserve. And I think that's a natural move. I just think that yeah, I just think that we give a little bit too much importance to the the show off lecturing circuit that became something huge in dentistry more than in other industries. And that's where men are like fulfilling their huge egos.
Right.
And,
Right. But you think it's changing
and
though?
that's not where.
I feel that the new wave, at least like, some of my friends, like aligned faculty, like the younger generation, it's a little bit less about that and a little bit more about let's do things together. So, I mean, I see what you're saying. I experienced it at the very beginning of it, but I think it's changing. And I mean, I wouldn't know. I've only been doing it for 2 years. Less than
It is changing. It is changing very slowly, unfortunately. But one thing is to lecture. The other thing is the main lecturing circuit. We're talking about the top 10, 15, 20 congresses of the world. And on these environments, you see almost the same people over and over again since a decade or more, and very little renovation, very little women, unfortunately,
Yeah,
on the top 20 dental congresses in the world.
true. So when I ask you what you're doing, would you say that you're trying to put some of us up there? Because I mean, when you see SBOE and you see that lineup, I mean, I think there's only like 2 women, but I mean, that's more than it's been before, right?
Of course, as I said, also on the other side, you have less women putting energy on creating a lecturing career. So maybe
Right.
because, as I said, there's other more important things that we should be doing, that women are doing. And so when you have a Congress, it's hard to make 50-50. Very, very, it's hard.
Of
Uh,
course, but I mean, it's actually more of a compliment, though. I mean, I do think I remember though that residency where I met you too. I was joking about you needing more women, on the residency. I never meant myself, but it's not me. It's also some of my friends, and Sheena said hi, and she's been on the residency too. So I personally think you're a big supporter, and I've always felt supported. So I think sure. I think this is a good segue to ask you in terms of influence and either men or women, who can have more influence? Somebody that has power because of their position, somebody that has money, or somebody that has charisma?
Okay, somebody that has power because of the position.
Mhm. Like a
Yeah.
leadership position, or
But why did this person achieve that leadership position? Because of money or because of charisma? So we
think
have.
about it. Think about them independently. Who can have more influence? Somebody that has
I would.
power because of position, because somebody
I
that
would.
has somebody that has charisma.
I would change a little bit the question and classify into three, another third, because I believe you can achieve things in this world because of three characteristics. One is money. You mentioned money. The other one is definitely charisma, and the other one is kindness, being a good person. And having money doesn't mean you have charisma, neither kindness. Being kind doesn't mean you have charisma, neither money. And having charisma doesn't mean you have money, neither being kind. So these are the three characteristics that I usually see as paths to achieve or to create an impact on somebody.
So of those 3, if you only had one, then which one has more impact on influencing?
On influencing others.
Yes.
Uh,
or making a difference, or what has more influence of those 3 things? If you could only have one, we all know, Christian, you have them all.
no, you cannot have it. This was a long discussion I had with some friends, and I created even a graphic to explain people with these 3 characteristics. You cannot. You're always better on one out of the 2, and then and this is usually what helps you get into things. I of course that for the world, kindness should be the main thing. Being a good person, regardless if you have the charisma, or regardless if you have the money, kindness should be the one that we should appreciate more, and we hope that more and more people will be kind. Now, we know that our society is not necessarily valuing what is the best, uh, conceptually speaking, philosophically, even spiritually thinking, right? Um, Unfortunately, if you don't have kindness and if you don't have charisma, but you have a lot of money, yes, you can, you can be very powerful. You can influence a lot of people because you can make a lot of decisions, etc., etc. Now, I love people with charisma. I just love people with charisma. If you change the question, like if you have 3 friends that you would pick to go out and have fun and enjoy a conversation or have a trip together, or I would pick probably the person that has charisma
Of
instead
course.
of me or instead of kindness.
Of course. I'm gonna let you change the question and then answer your way, Christian, even though it's my interview.
I will take over and start asking you questions.
Let's edit, let's cut, and I'll ask you how you want it. So what's your why? What keeps you going? Sometimes I see you not right now, right? But sometimes I see you nonstop doing crazy trips and day after the other. What keeps you going?
Oof. I believe the drive comes from 2 things. Definitely from the ambition of leaving a legacy, the ambition of making a difference, and the feedback from people, the energy that comes back, that really feeds me.
Yeah.
So of course that if all this effort, if I don't see that this effort is allowing me to make a difference, I would stop. And if I see that this effort is not generating a positive feedback, I would stop as well. If after a lecture, probably if I go lecture in the next few months and after the lecture I don't see the excitement that I see every time I lecture, probably I would quit.
Wow. Good answer. I liked it. It was tough, but you answered it well. I've always wondered this. I don't think I've asked you a lot of things over the years, but I don't think I've ever asked you this. I've been so busy. I mean, once again, looking at all the pictures, I'm like, it was nonstop, right? And I've like lately when I go to the office in the morning, I used to either like listen to an audiobook, which by the way you made fun of, listen to an audiobook, or listen to the radio or music. But now I just have the radio, like no music, no sound, and I just want that quiet, right? So that I can think. But does your mind ever go blank? Like, does it ever like stop?
Yeah, it does stop. Unfortunately, I'm not very into meditation. I tried several times, and I found that I believe meditation is key. It's very important. But I found a way to meditate as I exercise. So I get moments where maybe half an hour, 1 hour, where the mind just goes into the zone, into a mode where it's like just somewhere I don't know. And it's usually when I'm exercising. I like running or cycling, so it's repetition. So you really are on auto mode, so it becomes a meditational process for me.
Wow, I'm gonna try that because mine it's very hard to turn it off. So that was a question.
Yeah, it is hard, but I get moments like this when I'm exercising.
Cool. Very cool. So if money was no object, what would you do?
If money was no object,
What would you do?
If I had a lot of money already, like money was not a problem.
If money was not in the picture, you could do whatever you want all day. There's one thing. What would you be doing?
Exactly the same thing I've been doing.
I just gave you that one. I just gave you that.
Yeah, it's definitely it is my hobby to do what I'm doing for the last, I would say, Wasn't always like this. Working was tough on my 20s, on my 30s. But as soon as I found my path, it by far working became my best hobby.
Definitely.
And even sports, that was always something huge for me. And during my tough years where work was really tough on my, when I was starting, when financials was bad, when my father had financial issues, when I got pregnant at school, when I had babies when I was 23, all so many, for 15 years I had a very tough life, um, financially speaking, very, very tough. And working was very tough, but it was, of course, needed. I enjoyed working, but it was tough. So sports was my thing, and I was really feeling pleasure when I was doing sports. Nowadays, since I found really what I want to do with my professional life, even sports became secondary. I can spend days without sports and really feel excited and motivated and fulfilled, like if I was partying every day.
Awesome. It's really, once again, looking through all the pictures, and it's that 24/7. And I was talking to Alpha last night, and it's like, it's really because you love it. It wouldn't, there's no way anybody would spend all that time, doing stuff with their family about one thing if you don't love it. So yes, that's definitely what I would do too. If I had no money, I would still do the same thing.
It's impossible because most of the things that I did the last 15 years that were very exciting, they were not at all directly related to financial gain. They were not at all related to financial gain. And still today, most of the projects that I create, most of the ideas that I start, most of the movements that I start are not linked to a business plan. Or so it is because of the pleasure of doing it. Of course, that many things end up generating some kind of money, but it's like the second or third thing that comes to my mind. And that's
But I mean, that's the ideal, right? You love it, you want to spend time, and then if it generates money, I mean, why not, right? So let's talk a little bit about the whole. We've talked about this concept before about, and the reason, once again, that I follow and respect you, and when you say something, I really listen, and I have really high standards of people where like that I think are good people.
I hope.
No, I mean, I really, really do. I don't say this to many people, and I don't even care about what many people think, but I do care about this group of people, and of course, I care about what you think. But I want to know, in your terms, and we talked about this before, the whole concept of like, having confidence and versus the arrogance in the field. It's like you said it already, like it's full of it. And the whole, like, we talked about the humble narcissist and having both, and how do you balance that?
Yeah, this is a concept that this is some thoughts that always come to my mind. I like to define concepts, to put names or slurs, to specify thoughts, right? To translate them into a phrase or a paragraph or a recipe that helps me as a teacher, of course, as a workflow developer, or as a consultant for companies. I enter into a company that is paying me for a consultancy, and I need to identify things and then restructure things and then translate the problem into bullet points and then tackle them and create a recipe to overcome those problems. So one of the things that you asked me in the past, that combination that I think it's very powerful, that I call the humble confidence, being a humble, confident person. I think that's the most powerful combination. That's what I told you, the badass combination, right?
Yeah.
You need to be super confident, and it's beautiful to see confident people. It's very attractive. It's very interesting to see people that are. It doesn't mean you are perfect. It doesn't mean you know all the answers. You're just confident. You're confident when you fail. You're confident when you apologize. You're confident when you're weak. You're confident when you admit your weakness.
Love it.
You're open to criticism. So it's a different meaning of confidence. It's just almost like serenity, like being calm with the situation, because you're confident on the universe, you're confident on God, you're confident that everything happens for a reason, you're confident that things are out of control, and you should be still confident about whatever happens need to happen. You
Especially
know,
now.
just, yeah, just be confident with the things that you can control, and be confident with the things that you cannot control. Just let things happen in the hands of the, how can I say, the universe.
Sure.
So being confident,
So with that, how would you
balance. Yeah.
so with that, how would you say that confidence in the universe and things you can and cannot control? Right now we're in a situation, and I said this interview is not going to be about COVID, but how has this situation changed you?
You know, I've been challenging myself, because I believe crises like this, they really put yourself on the corner, meaning, okay, Christian, and this is me talking to myself. Okay, Christian, you've been so cool about all these concepts, about, oh, being this, being that. You need to trust the universe. You need to be calm. You need to be confident. Blah blah blah. Now we have this problem. Maybe, you know you don't have, maybe your company will suffer, maybe you're gonna have to fire people, maybe you're gonna lose your company, maybe you're gonna have to close down, maybe you have to start from scratch, maybe you have to find a new job, maybe you don't know. And that's when you need to really bring all those statements that is easy to say when the world is going fine, and really apply them in real life. And I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm really living what I've been preaching, in terms of really allowing myself to be fragile, allowing myself to be exposed, uh, have the best positive feeling and posture, and allow the things that are out of control to show you the future, how it's going to be. And just enjoy the fact that things are out of control. That's not easy. That's
So
not easy.
that is so that's how it's changed you, almost to prove to yourself that your mindset actually is real. Is that how it's changed you, like you didn't test it before?
In every crisis, in every personal crisis, in every tough moment that I had previously, I was always challenging myself. If I read a good book, if I learn a good lesson, and I say, this is how I want to be, and life is going fine, you're not really testing that. Then the difficult moment comes, and you need to go back to those principles that you learned, that you said, this makes sense. And that's when you need to apply them and really live them for real, not bullshit speaking, but
Sure.
really being what you know is the right thing to be. Right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I always talk about, use as an example, religion. If you really believe in something bigger than ourselves, right? If you really believe, we can name God or whatever name you want to place. If you really believe in God, and you really believe that this thing knows beyond whatever imagination we have, knows what she is doing, it is doing, right? That means that even the worst catastrophe, if you are really faithful, if you really believe in faith, you're not going to be happy with the catastrophe, but you should accept the catastrophe, right? Even the catastrophe. And we can think about the worst catastrophe that can happen to us, right? We know what these things can be, and it can happen with everybody. How can you, on a moment of a catastrophe, keep your faith and keep your positive thinking? Because that is the ultimate exercise. And that's something that I've been doing since ever for myself. I always think, like, life is too good. Let me exercise a catastrophe here to even appreciate more what I'm living, to live the moment and not project to the future, to enjoy right now, appreciate the moment. And also to understand that whatever happens, I hope I will be ready and I will stay as positive as possible. And that's how. So then, when you do this exercise, the catastrophe exercise, or what I call the worst case scenario exercise, the real worst case scenario, not losing your job or losing uh,
Real,
your
right?
company, the real worst case scenario. When you think about the real case scenario and you train yourself to really try to be positive as possible on the worst case scenario, then you see this crisis and you're like, okay, I can handle this, you know,
Absolutely.
I can,
Absolutely.
I can
It's
get through it.
almost you're privileged to have, even during all of this, even if the worst case scenarios, right now the situation is more, of course, health, right? But if you do have health, right now our worries, yours and mine, is my team, in my case, my 3-month-old acquisition company, like all of these things that you think, but then you really look back and it's appreciating the real things. And we're
The
very lucky.
business wise speaking, money wise speaking, you know what is the worst case scenario? You're losing your business and you're losing your money. And you know what you have? You have yourself.
Right.
You have your health, you have your network, you have your skills, you have your kindness.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that can happen is that we need to start from scratch. And I look at starting from scratch. I have to be honest. Of course, I want my company to survive. I want. But when I exercise the feeling of starting from scratch, you know what I feel? I feel excitement. I
I
say,
knew you were gonna say that you're crazy.
bring it. If that is my faith, bring it.
My God, Christian. I have a few questions from some people. One of them was, when is the right time to start DSC? And of course, I have my own answer for that, and I've lived that answer. But some people, some dental students that follow me that are like, I'm about to graduate. Do you think I should, is there any time too early to apply the concept? So I know your answer, but I want you to say it for the people that asked.
My dream is to bring DSD to the last year of undergrad.
Yes.
The last year of dental school would be paradise, because the few times that I lecture for that type of young crowd, I could see the connection. I could see their excitement. I could see how I was helping them to prepare their strategies and prepare their future in a better way. I saw how I was really showing that digital dentistry is not that magical tool, putting things in perspective, really teaching young dentists what really matters, putting the patient in the center, of course, but really understanding the basics and the fundamentals of high quality dentistry, high quality care,
Right.
and then understand the power of utilizing the new tools to potentialize these skills. So for me, the dream would be dental school.
Absolutely. And I think, when you think of DSC, you think of this literally like a menu items that just keep going and are never ending, and the philosophies and everything. But I think the core philosophy of, like you said, putting the patient first, and how it changes the way we communicate to patients. It's never too early to start that, even in dental school, to be able to communicate with images and videos and make them the author of everything. I think.
Communication is one of my passions. I think it's a shortcut to success. There's two shortcuts to success:
Please tell.
Communication skills and crisis.
Yes, because it pushes you to like.
So this crisis is a huge opportunity to know. Everybody talks about it. It sounds cliche, right? Now we know that is true. So people need to take advantage of it. Think about this moment as the moment of opportunity. And the other opportunity is to invest in communication. So I believe that this is another topic that undergrad students should be practicing. I would skip some boring scientific lectures in dental school to go to a communication skill lecture, or have a program that combines a little bit of it,
Definitely. We don't get taught any of that. And that's the number one thing. It's not the bonding strength of something. that's important, and that it goes full circle. But if you can't communicate to the patient, you'll never do anything. I have some questions for my daughters here. Daniela asks, what is the biggest challenge that you face in DSD? Not now, just in general, because right now we're in a different, situation. But what's your biggest challenge in DSD?
In the history of DSD. So yeah, in the last 10 years.
she's wondering what's the hardest thing about being DSD, about running DSD and about being
Now, at this moment.
not during COVID.
No,
Just
no, 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 yeah, like, yeah.
yeah,
Of
yeah,
course, is learning how to become a team leader, learning how to become a CEO. I have this now. The company has 100 people, so it is kind of a company now. It's kind of a mid-size, small, but
right.
it's already something.
Oh,
We have offices in Brazil, in Madrid, in Miami, in Shanghai. The expenses per month are huge, and I'm learning. I was not born a business leader, a manager, CEO, and I didn't study for that. And it's not easy, and I'm learning as we go, right? So this is the challenge.
I
Moving, the biggest challenge, moving from a creative innovator into a business CEO, because these things mix, and this is where I make most of my mistakes as a CEO. When I'm acting as a crazy innovator instead of a CEO, and I have a team now, and everybody's like, so I work against the company many times when I'm just a crazy creative innovator and not a leader CEO.
Right. That's a really good answer, Christian. I do have some more questions, but I know that we're running out of time. So I actually want to finish with something
Yeah,
that's called.
time. Go.
We
Yeah.
have time. Okay. So I'll ask you Isabella's question, and then I'll move on to like the last phase. Isabella's question is: how do you juggle being a husband, a dad, and a DSD maker?
A husband and dad, and that's tough. So this is the famous word. How do you find the balance, right? The balance. Everybody, I believe that the concept of balance, of finding the balance, is overrated. I gave up on trying to find balance.
Okay.
There was a lot of stress because you read books, you listen to life coaches, and you need to balance, you need to find a balance. And I said, you know what? F the balance. There's no more balance. I'm not gonna punish myself because I'm not balanced. I am not.
Guilt because you're not.
I'm completely out of balance. Now, I try not to get worse, but I'm not putting pressure on myself on trying to find balance. Of course, that my family in the past suffered more. I know my kids, my first round of kids, suffered a lot, and that was more because of necessity, because I was working day and night during the tough times. Nowadays, for the last 10 years, of course, I lecture and travel a lot, so it was very tough to be my family, as I was always out. Fortunately, the last 2 years I found a little bit more of a balance, but I know that I'm not the person that will have that structured, balanced life, so nice, and go to work out every day, and then it's at home 5 p.m., 6 p.m. every day, and does these things that I'm not that person. I will never be.
Yeah. Wow. Isabella asked a nice question because I wasn't expecting. I didn't know what you were going to answer to that. So okay. So this next section is more like a rapid fire questions. It's the first thing that comes to mind. One word. Go for it. Okay. I know that's going to be hard, Christian.
One word. Boom.
Boom. Okay.
Can I say anything that comes to my mind?
Yeah. Yes, of course. That's fun of it. Is that water? Is that something else?
It's gin. Pure gin.
Okay. Favorite place in the world? Rapid fire, Christian.
Favorite place in the world is, I love Brazil.
Specific?
More specific, I love São Paulo, my city.
Okay. If you could meet one person dead or alive, who would it be?
If I could be?
If you could meet one person dead or alive, who would it be?
Wow.
Wow. Wow, I got you to say wow. Yes.
Meet for the first time, not somebody that I know. If I could meet somebody for the first time,
Somebody for the first time. It's like anybody in history, in the world, dead or alive.
I would meet Nat King Cole.
Wow, man, this is rapid fire, but I would almost love to know why. I need to know why.
The Nat King Cole is one of, for me, the best singer ever. I'm a big fan of
Oh,
jazz, and he is probably one of the most elegant,
yes.
charismatic
Yeah.
man I ever saw. So I would love to have a chat with him.
Very cool. Favorite food?
Favorite food, sushi.
If you could go back in time for one day, what would it be?
What day?
Yeah.
My wedding day, for sure.
Man, I wish I could go back in time and I could be there too.
Oh yeah. I miss the great friends I did on the last 5 years. I wish they were there with me.
I think we should do like a vow renewal wedding.
Next year is my 5 years anniversary. No, this year, like this month is my 5 years. Okay, so we cannot celebrate now. We need to celebrate next year.
Yeah, like next time. If you could have one superpower.
Control my ego.
Oh, come on. You had that one sort of sometimes in place. No, you're really good at that. Just like a crazy superhero superpower.
I wish I could fly.
Yeah, that's mine. Do you have a nickname?
I have my family calls me Chris.
Right.
My many colleagues call me CC.
Yeah.
CC is my professional nickname, and my childhood nickname was Tita. Tita.
How do you spell that?
Tita.
Cool. Awesome. Does anybody still use it or no?
My aunt, my godmother. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Ice cream flavor.
Pistachio.
Huh. Would you want to live forever?
Oh yeah.
When was the last time you cried?
Whew. Like 1 week ago when I was fighting with my wife.
I'm not gonna have a follow-up question to that, but this does remind me that I think I might have you not crying, but teary-eyed.
Oh, at the masters meeting. Yeah. I was kind of teary several times. I was there. Actually, I'm getting older and I'm getting much more emotional year after year.
Really?
I cried also 2 months ago when on the tribute to Team Atlanta. I lectured in Atlanta.
Yes.
To the history of their dental history, and I had to stop the lecture because I started to on stage.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, many times. I've been crying a lot this year. I cried when I saw the balance, the financial balance of my company yesterday.
No joke, man. Ask permission or beg forgiveness?
We'll say it again.
Would you rather ask for permission or beg for forgiveness? I know your answer to this.
Beg for forgiveness, of sure.
What's your most embarrassing moment?
I'm sorry?
Most embarrassing moment.
Holy shit. Most embarrassing moment. There's one that I cannot share here. It's very embarrassing. But there's another one. There's another one that I was trying to tell somebody that I was a very good tennis player, and I'm a storyteller. So I'm a pretty decent tennis player, like play the whole life. But I was trying to make up if I was a little bit better than I really am or really was, and ends up that the guy was former professional player.
Oh
so
my God.
I was kind of embarrassed.
No. That sucks. Would you travel to space in today's technology? Would you travel to
No,
space
I prefer to stay alive.
that we have now? You would?
I prefer to stay alive on Earth.
Okay. Okay.
I'm a risk taker, but I'm a risk taker not on adventures like this. No.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever stolen anything?
Oh yeah.
So with that one too, did you ever cheat on a test?
Almost every test.
That's hilarious.
My whole dental school, I wouldn't graduate at all. That's a true story. Unfortunately, I'm not proud of it, but that's the truth. You ask me for the truth.
That's the truth. I will save some questions for next time. Thank you so much. This was so much fun, especially you actually surprised me with some of those answers. I thought I knew you pretty well, and I just wanted to like bring it out in this interview, but you still surprised me, man. So
I like to surprise people, for good or for bad.
yes.
Better than staying at the same. I don't like the same, right?
So thank you so much for your time. This was so much fun. You know, I'll think of some other project or fun thing to do together in the future. But thanks so much for your time, for your wisdom, for your generosity towards me at all times. I really was, you know, when I was going through our history, I really was touched and got emotional too, because I still, to this day, it's very surreal to me, but I still to this day can't believe that somebody like you, without asking for anything in return, without knowing me, just gave so much, and I will never forget that. So thank you.
It's a two-way thing, you know. And then being kind is just being kind, and opening doors should be an obligation, not an extra, you know, skill. Should be an obligation. So I feel great that I'm fulfilling that. One of my dreams was to be able to help people. So I'm just doing what I should be doing.
We're very appreciative and thankful. I'll let you close it up because you're the expert. But thank you.
I really enjoyed it. I think I hope Brandon enjoyed it. I think we should do more of this. You know, invite people with tough questions. Yes, last week my friend made a very tough question. The topic was why digital is not good.
Oh my gosh.
We went over all the topics of marketing and the change of priorities that are not good, dental education, and so on. And today was also a lot of fun, so I'm enjoying it.
My intention was not for it to be tough questions. I've given you enough toughness too over the years. My intention was for people to.
It's not tough. It needs to be interesting, right? If it's shallow, it's not cool. You know, you need to go deep.
But I feel that you're so much out there, and you know, like the Christian, the person, you put yourself a lot out there, but like knowing these little things. And some of my favorite things about you have always been like our one-on-one conversations in the middle of like, you know, like a dinner or something. And of course it's impossible to experience, you know, from someone watching, but I think it would be it's really cool for people to see that side of Christian as well. So, you know, hopefully people got a little bit of that.
No, thanks for allowing me to show that side. Thank you
so much, Chris.
I hope everybody enjoyed.
Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Kisses to the family.
You guys too. All the best for family there.
Bye.